Hey guys, welcome to Ethereum Update. I'm Bob Chow. Thank you so much for joining this channel. I just wanted to give you guys a few insights that I had regarding the recent market movements. I know that the markets are moving a lot because of announcements from China and announcements regarding banning of ICOs and banning of different exchanges. And that has caused a lot of market movement. And I just wanted to share some insights I had regarding market movement and the fear of market movement. I used to be a short-term active trader in the Chicagoland area, and we traded futures, specifically government bonds. And you guys might, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the futures market of government bonds, but there can be really, really wild movements in the futures market. And me and my fellow coworkers, we worked under a boss that was, very wealthy, and he basically gave us his money to manage and to trade on the futures market. And one of the pieces of advice that he gave us about fear of the market is that fear of the market is removed when you always do what needs to be done. So fear of the market is removed when you know you will always do what needs to be done. And what that means is, no matter if the market moves up or down, you're supposed to have some sort of plan of action. And, regardless of what happens, you're always supposed to know what to do and then also have the courage to do what needs to be done at all times. So if you always have a plan of attack and you always know that you will do what needs to be done, no matter the circumstance, then fear of the market is removed. I think that's what my boss was trying to tell us. Who knows? But, what does that mean for you and me? Well, if you've watched some of my previous videos, you'll know that one of my goals is just to make a very, very simple crypto portfolio of at least 1 Bitcoin and at least 10 Ether. And I also said that you could also have some other altcoins, but if we were to keep it simple, you really need at least 1 Bitcoin and 10 Ether. So, as the market goes down, I tend to just, buy a little bit more Bitcoin or a little bit more Ether. I think that in just this last downturn, I think I bought maybe 0.1 or 0.2 Bitcoin. In addition, I bought maybe 1 Ether. So, you don't have to buy much, but just with each downturn, maybe you just buy a little bit more, okay? In order to make that goal of 1 Bitcoin and 10 Ether. So, in my opinion, I'm always looking out for the long term. And, my goal is to not sell any of my Ether or my Bitcoin once I build up to 1 Bitcoin, 10 Ether. Until, I don't plan to sell until maybe, 20 years down the road, okay? And so I'm aiming for the long term, and I've got a long-term vision of where I want to take this Ether and this Bitcoin. Now, could I be wrong? Yes, I absolutely could be wrong. Maybe in 10 to 15 years, this stuff will be worthless. But if my overall long-term vision is correct, and I hold on to this, 1 Bitcoin and 10 Ether, well, I think that things could go very, very well. Okay, so I'm telling you guys, you know what, I'm going to say this. I'm not going to sell in the next 50 to 20 years. I'm going to hold on to it for at least 15 years. Okay, guys? I'm committing to you guys right now, okay? One of the reasons why I like to have a more long-term view and a more forward-thinking view is because I always kind of make fun of my parents for not taking advantage of certain investment opportunities when they were around my age. For instance, when I was born in 1981, I noticed, looking back in 1981 when I was born, in 1981, the 30-year bond rate, the U.S. Treasury rate, was at like 15%. So if you can imagine that if you buy a 30-year bond at 15%, that's supposed to be giving you 15% interest a year for 30 years. Think about that. And my parents didn't buy any of those bonds. Similarly, I think the 10-year bond rate in 1981, and you can look this up, the interest rate was about 15% as well. So imagine a debt instrument returning you 15% interest each year for 10 years or 30 years. That's crazy. I also kind of make fun of my parents for not investing in Microsoft or I guess Apple, given that there must have been some clue way back in the day, around late 80s that Microsoft or Apple could have been big. So I mean, come on guys, why I always make fun of my parents for not jumping onto that bandwagon or for not recognizing that opportunity. So, I kind of want to avoid that situation for myself. So I always think about what my kids, which I don't have kids right now, but what if my kids were to look back and to think, oh, what investment opportunities should I, their dad, have invested in? Well, I feel as though Bitcoin might be one of those big opportunities where, if I invest in it now, when my kids are my age or in high school, they'll think, wow, look at this. Dad actually bought Bitcoin, and Dad has 1 Bitcoin and 10 Ether. Isn't that cool? I always think about that long-term vision and that day when I can look back and tell my kids that, yes, I did invest in Bitcoin and I held it until they are that age. So that's kind of my long-term vision. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. Please share with me your guys' long-term vision. Do you guys have a long-term vision of what you hope for when you guys hold on to your cryptocurrencies? So in the end, I think that the message of this video is that fear of the market is removed when you always know you will always do what needs to be done. You have a plan of attack and you always have the courage to execute that plan. And if hopefully you also, a part of your plan, I'm sorry, also I hope that your plan is a kind of a long-term plan that you can take forward for many years to come. Okay, so that's my thought on the market downturns, how I deal with the market downturns, and my view of the future in general. Hope this video was helpful for you guys, and if you found this video to be helpful, please feel free to subscribe, like, and share this video. And also, I wanted to thank you guys for bringing up to 1,000 subscribers. So thank you so much, guys. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks. Bye.